mean, when my wife and I got together, I said, look, I'm never going to have $1 million. We're never going to be able to go on, 3-week vacations and travel the world. But this is what I'm going to do with my life. If you want that, then that's fine. If you don't, call it good, Been together for 37 years. I am Farmer John, otherwise known as Parmesan.
Come on over and stay a little while. Come on over and bring your inner child. Come on over, it's been too long a time. Come on over, we'll sit and drink some wine. We'll hang out in the backyard, we'll talk about old times. We'll laugh and tell the stories of touching the divine.
Do we need to empty this one out?
Nope, it's all set up.
And all water?
All set.
Okay, so your friend's not coming?
I called her off. It's going to be overbuilt this morning.
Okay.
We're picking stems. We're not even picking flowers. We're going to teach hope how to do this. The next generation. Farming has evolved. I mean, farming is not the same as it was 30 years ago or 100 years ago. I mean, the way, whatever amendments we use to the soil are totally different. The amounts are different. The testing is different. And there's more science now that we can use and bank off from. And we are going back to a lot of old practices that were thrown away because too many chemicals were used. So, using natural amendments and whatnot to the soil of, cover crops and things of that sort are right back.
Tuck them in. All right, so you can see that a whole bunch of these are already stripped. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, we're not picking flowers, we're picking stems.
You
hold the head up here so that it stays. Otherwise, they just fall over. And so it's about an arm's length.
Okay.
That's about what you want.
Okay.
And you're gonna go through and you're gonna pick such. So if you take a look at these, we have them in 5 different stages here.
Yeah.
So this one's marginal. Mm-hmm. Don't pick that one. Yep. Don't pick that one. This one gets picked. This one gets picked.
Okay.
And these are florist type, so they'll continue.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. Sue and Kelly are super professional pickers. If you have any questions, just ask them.
All right.
So this whole field, there's rows of flowers. You can see mostly it's the taller ones. Mm-hmm. And just sort of get on a row. And what I do is I just start walking down it.
Okay.
And,
Amazing.
And going through. So there it goes.
30 years ago, it was a shotgun approach. You threw out fertilizer or lime or whatever, and you just said, well, it'll be better than it was. Well, maybe you weren't doing any good at all because the composition wasn't right. So now we do a lot more with science with it.
Yeah, a lot more testing.
A lot more testing.
For amendments. Yeah. And testing with growing different cover crops that might put different materials back into the soil and different nutrients.
I mean, I'm having to relearn farming because we've really been interested in no-till, and it really works for us for time saving, but it also means you need to plan your fields out a couple of years in advance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is going to go fast. My preference, I love the darker center.
Me too.
It reminds me of Black Eyed Susans,
Yes.
and I love Rudbeckia.
Yes.
So we're going over here. Look at this. See these yellow in here, Jody? I think we're going to find a lot right here. I just help out when I can, and he lets the school that I run. We come and do field trips here and have our Halloween celebration. So I sort of have to give. I sort of think of it as giving back. He shares his farm with my students, and so I do what I can to help out. wet from inside out. 4, 5, 6, 13. And you have to cut 20. It just seems more than. So it's, for me, I feel more accomplished when it's 15, to be honest. There's a method to my madness. And now I gotta find a way out of here. Ooh. They asked me to come to do this because they know I'm one of the few people who's crazy enough to get up at this time of day, so to try and stay dry. That's what I have, hiking boots that I wear, and like the first day, I've never felt wet socks in hiking boots until that first day in here. It's so true, the hiking boots even, so you get soaked. Some of those stems are really thick. I told them you're the pro, Sally. Oh no. No. Just how many years? It's the last day, so we want to have flowers for everyone who wants them. And that's why we're picking, and that's why they're not fully open. Because afternoon picking is too hot. So we pick in the mornings and early evenings. But on a busy day like today, we'll pick in the afternoon if we can free up staff and more flowers will open.
Thank you. Oh, yep. You guys had already gotten to 15, but I couldn't show them nothing.
We'll have to get a picture of the last day pickers.
Last day pickers.
Yeah. I have been back and forth giving instructions to craft vendors and food vendors who are in 2 different places. We had hoped to have another person here giving me a hand, but they got tied up in the farm stand. So it is what it is. You know, we make things happen and work. And so we're getting set up for our Booze and Blooms event tonight, which is our first year doing it. We're very excited. We sold out of tickets 2 days ago, so it's pretty exciting. And we have 40 craft vendors that are going to be selling all their wares all weekend, and half of them showed up to set up early, which is such a relief. Keeps traffic down 8 o'clock tomorrow morning trying to get all that done. So yeah, so we're having a good time. It's very hot.
This is the Sun Festival in Lee, New Hampshire. They said anybody over 60 stay out of the heat, and I missed it by 59. I'm just 59.
I have hats, decorative hats.
You got any jewelry?
Yeah, jewelry,
She does jewelry. She makes
hair.
her own jewelry.
That'll go on somebody.
The first year I came, I set up all my wreaths. I'll show you what I make. I set up all my wreaths and, well, that's a daisy, but I have sunflower wreaths. And the people who run the farm came over to me and said, "You're probably going to sell out." And I thought they were joking, and I sold out.
Right now I'm setting out reusable sandwich wraps and snack bags, so you can minimize the use of Ziploc bags. We have bowl cozies, microwave safe bowl cozy. Yeah.
Which, believe it or not, are a hot ticket.
I just wanted to go to the Sunflower Festival. And then I was reading more into it, and it said they had vendor spaces, and I'm like, really? I never heard of it before, so.
This is our first
not
year.
at this festival, no.
We do how many a year?
About 14, 15 of them a year.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a little longer if the ground is not even.
We're gonna do these all at home, handcrafted by hand. You don't use no CNC machines like a lot of them do.
We sell all natural products. We do our own barbecue sauces and all kinds of different things. My buddy's got bees in Unity, and we work together. I help him truck his bees, and I have a handicap accessible van that we use to go to North Carolina and get bees.
So they planted corn here. Last year this was all sunflowers, so the sunflowers are down there, it looks like.
We have Walking Gourmet, so I do little upscale burgers, a few of my more popular things here, and pulled pork rangoons, that's a truck specialty. Do a lot of private events, mostly. Ever since COVID, people started doing weddings with us, so ever since then we've done tons of wedding venues, and it's kept going from there. Yeah.
So I'm doing chicken salad wraps using their chicken and hummus wraps using their house-made hummus. We just started our catering company over at the farm, trying to use as much of our own locally raised stuff as much as possible. So yeah, this is our first time as Vernon Kitchen coming and representing at the Coppal House Festival.
You gotta carry stuff from point A to point B, like a lot. The not so glamorous side of festivals, you know what I mean?
We have a winery and distillery. We grow white grapes predominantly. We're focused on aromatic white varietal wines. That's what we do really well, is aromatic white wines. And then we also make whiskey. We grow all the grain on the farm, actually in conjunction with Coppal House.
We share equipment with them, and we do a land share thing due to the crop rotations. So he and I kind of work together on equipment and land, and it's been a good association.
In 2021, our 21 vintage Vignole went to Finger Lakes International Wine Competition, and it was out of 40,000 wine entrants, it was one of 22 or so that got a double gold. So that's wines from all over the world. So we were really excited that the concept we've been preaching for so long, that you can make really truly world-class white wines here, is finally starting to prove itself out. We're having objective ways of saying that other than just us yelling at the top of our lungs.
I don't believe it until I taste it. What's
How
up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Good.
I still am gonna get some of your canned stuff. Somebody actually posted up on a Facebook page on in Wolfboro, and she's like, I don't know what this is, but somebody commented on what it was, and like, is it local? And I think it is. And I said, yeah, Flag Hill, and all that, and all these people were responding like, oh my God, that's awesome. Keep it local and blah blah blah. So.
Everybody is different. Very different. There's one down in Connecticut that's been very successful. They've been around for a long time. There's another one in Amesbury that's been around. We are the oldest one in New Hampshire.
First and
oldest, and there's 2 or 3 others that have started up since. And everybody's a little bit different. You know, it's like going to a restaurant. You know, maybe their menu isn't quite what you really want all the time, and you go to another one. And I look at it as there's 3 or 4 of us, and we all offer something different locations, different times of the year, and you know, people are going to pick where they like to go.
When we are posting on social media, it's really important for us to show what people can do at the farm, what things look like currently, because these fields are blooming and flowers are passing and more are coming along. It's constantly changing, so we like to kind of keep people updated so that they see the status of the field, how beautiful it still looks. You know, when we have storms like we just did last night, We want to make sure that everyone knows that the flowers are still up and beautiful and that the rain hasn't damaged them, and that when they come out this weekend it's going to be just as nice as if they came out earlier before the storm. So we highlight some of our props. We have a number of different ones, and every year we try and add 1 or 2 new things for people to see. Currently we have a brand new stump that was installed by one of our past employees who came back to give us a hand. He is part of the Woodsman's team, or was at UNH, so he hewn out this really great stump so that you can set your phone right on it and take pictures through this white picture frame that we have installed in the field. So that's one of our new installations this year. Yeah, so we just want to make people aware of what things look like every day so that they are encouraged to come out and enjoy the field as much as we do.
Swing me round and once again hold my hand real tight. We'll move together and apart as our feet take flight. Now swing me to and fro and back and ride the music beat. We'll skip and dip and step and sink until the song's complete. Swing me back and forth until I melt into your smile. We'll raise our hands and stomp our feet and sashay down the aisle. Swing me back and swing me forth, swing me all night long. The band can play till morning's light, not playing the same song.
Just go right down through the field and they'll get you. They'll place you. Hi. Just follow them through the field. You got it. And follow them. They're going to get you parked up in there. A lot of people from the East Coast come up. There's actually a few sunflower festivals, and there's people that actually like travel throughout New England seeing all the sunflower festivals. It's a nice time. People come from around the country to see this. So I think last year we had somebody from Michigan came all the way out here for it. I think this is year 5 for me. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Talk to John enough. We'll talk about farmer fixing and farmer tolerance. And this is definitely a farmer fix. I am definitely using farmer tolerances. The Banks is our next door. John leases all the land that's not the home farm from Jim Banks, and he's an engineer and he's amazing. He can build pretty much anything. And he and John have had an ongoing dispute about tolerances and the proper way to fix things. Jim does a good job of measuring twice and cutting once. And we learn as we go. I might get an actual hammer. But it's pretty close. It's coming together. Make sure no one trips. Get a hammer and some wrenches and we'll finish this. I just gotta switch off with John. For as long as I've known him, he's had that yellow water bottle. Well, actually several of them. One got ran over, another got lost in the woods. But it's identifiable. If you find that, you'll find him. Probably wandering around.
Oh, you don't use it to get to make.
Where are we at, sir?
Well, we have a hitching post. And
Wonderful.
A little bit of tweaking, but it'll I'm supposed to let you take a turn in the horse barn.
All right, I will go to Pony Barn, I guess. All right, super deal. Cool. Off to see the wizard. We always try to get me a strong color so I don't lose it. I usually end up losing them. They usually have a short life, a year, maybe. year and a where I either lose them or I run them over with a tractor.
He's got his water and
This
his
is where
John Deere
the
hat.
solar powered's gonna go, and then you just have the little mechanism.
John Deere hat, yeah. You
I
pay
saw you a little
$20,000 for the
while
hat and they give you a free lawnmower.
Yeah.
Right, Dave?
Our right-hand gal, our manager, Megan Kelly, I don't know how many years ago, it was 2016, I think. You know, we had some extra time back then, and we were sitting around, and I was like, well, you know, like, people are buying this oil, and they're enjoying it and all, but let's try to validate it a little bit more. Let's enter it in a competition. So we looked at all these different food competitions around the country, and we picked one. It was called the Good Food Awards. It seemed like it was, you know, very legitimate. It was really looking at quality. It was also looking at how a product was made. And all of a sudden we started getting correspondence from them of, we've tasted the oil. It has made the first level, you know, the first round of moving on. Like, this could be like the best. And then eventually they sent us a letter that said, you're a finalist. And we're like, oh my goodness. And then they're like, you're a winner. And we're like, oh my God, we're jumping up and down in the office. And we're like, wow.
We didn't know why, but
we won. Like, they think our oil is great. And so they had this big, huge gala event in San Francisco, which is a big foodie heaven. And there were other oils that won, other types of oils. So there were about 10 oils that won in the oil category as being, you know, the best in the country for that year. And they were so impressed with how we, the sustainability portion of how we produced our oil, that it was grown here, it was harvested here, it was cleaned here, it was stored here, and it was pressed and bottled right here. The carbon footprint is like zero almost, except for the machinery that we go out to harvest with. And they said, would you please give the opening remarks for the oil category? I was like, what? And so, of course, John's a very good speaker, so he's like, oh, sure, I'll do that.
Maybe the Good Foods Award thing really brought it home to me, the takeaways that people bring. I had basically 2 minutes for a speech, and I had to talk about the other 9 winners briefly, and I had to tell a bit of the farm story about us in 2 minutes. And I had 900, there was just under 1,000 people there, and that's a good sized crowd, but I've had bigger. They were worried about whether I said, look, that's not a problem. I said, that's easy. I said, 2 minutes is going to be a challenge. Well, I got it down to 1:59, you know, and I started my thing. I went up and I was telling people, now we went there in February, and I was telling people, I said, you know, 2 nights ago, I was giving a sleigh ride in 20-degree weather to 2 people, and here I am tonight in San Francisco, and it's 70 degrees out, and I'm talking to over 900. And we talked about the oil people. We talked about our farm a little bit, but, you know, part of it was the horses. And I touched briefly, I thought really briefly, on the horses and moved on. And for the rest of the evening, when you have the meet and greet afterwards, I wasn't known as the oil guy. I was known as the horse guy. And I'm just like, wow, that's what people remembered. I mean, they were like, yeah, you got the oil thing. Tell me about the horses. You know, and you're like, okay, that's not why I'm here, but okay. So, I mean, the takeaway was you just don't, sometimes we don't think about when we speak, you know, just what people are going to remember. And that was a good thing. I mean, it could have been worse.
This is our draft horse photo day that we do every year at the Sunflower Festival. We get them all gussied up so that people can take photos and just enjoy the horses. I've been working here since, I think, 2021, but I used to help during the Sunflower Festivals back when we did wagon rides. So I've been around the farm for a little bit longer than that. Charlie's our old man. He's really good for photos of the horses. He gets into the zone and then doesn't care. Just kind of keep an eye on the horse's attitude. If they look like they're having a good time, we'll keep them out a little bit longer. But if they're looking like they're a little agitated or just kind of don't want to people anymore, we switch them out. I'm the same way. I'm like, oh, I don't want to people anymore. So the first weekend, the Sunday was pretty packed, which was nice to see. But hopefully we'll have a good weekend this coming weekend. And the week's been pretty good as well. So it's good to see.
I'm a sunflower. Photosynthesis.
I lived in New Hampshire my entire life. I've never heard of the Sunflower Festival before. And then my friend said that he was going to come and do something here. And then all of a sudden I hear on the radio that, oh, Frank FM is going to be here at the Sunflower Festival. And all of a sudden my other friend was like, oh, I come almost every year. I'm like, where have I been? Well, this year I'm here.
It's our second time.
Yeah, just as beautiful as the first time. We're gonna be here every year. Yeah, we're gonna take some sunflowers home and get breakfast. Take a nap. It was an early morning start.
We're from Delaware, all of us. But she lives here in
Yeah,
New
I just
Hampshire.
moved up here in January. So I was like, oh, what can we do while we're visiting? And then I saw something about this, so I bought some tickets. And since they drove all the way up here, I thought I would buy the tickets.
It's beautiful, the whole farm.
Yes.
We love how all the sunflowers are facing the sun. They go in the same way. It's really cool. And I love that they put the door and the little gazebo thing in the middle of the field so you can get your pictures taken with them. What a great idea.
We're gonna do some pictures, and then we're gonna go get some food.
Enjoy some food, have some wine,
So
listen to some good music.
make fun of each other as we try and all take selfies, but
Yes.
super excited.
Yeah, we both found out about it the same morning, and
We bought tickets instantly.
yeah.
Very, very good. The flowers, when we got here and the sun was out, the flowers were spectacular.
Oh, I got a couple of t-shirts and then obviously sunflowers.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
And we learn how to keep up with the maintenance of them. So you have to cut the bottom of them every day and put them in fresh water. Because they're too oily and they clog up.
First time sunflower owners.
Yes.
It's awesome, looks good, very good. We came here before sunrise and then we see it, the flower going with the sun. We love it.
We like to make stuff. We just went to Goodwill and decided to grab as much yellow and green fabric as we could and just
A little bit of brown as well.
as we started making them, we were like, it would have been maybe nice to plan this a little more and have a little more time because we made them yesterday.
We spent like a good old 4 hours on them.
Yeah,
And I did like a good old 40 minutes.
Yeah, maybe like an hour or so if that.
It's got Trader Joe vibes because when you go into Trader Joe's, it's like
something about
everyone's just happy, you know, it's all blissful and
It's the nature,
mellow.
it's the organicness
It's got-
of it, honestly. Like, it's
got
just
those
nice
vibes.
to have that in a world that's so fueled by like technological advances. It's nice to get back to the good old fashioned, just good vibes and good ways.
Me and my sister come every year.
We haven't.
So,
First time.
We made them tag along this time.
Definitely a lot nicer than I went to a different sunflower field and they weren't as big as these ones, so.
Yeah, that's why I always love coming to this one. I feel like they're always huge. Yeah.
We've come up here the year before when the sunflowers are actually up on the north field, up where this corn is now, but they've moved them down here in this lower pasture this last year.
It's really cool how they rotate the fields actually every year, so they're always in a different spot. I really like the artisan market too. I'm an artist, so it's really nice to actually meet and connect with people here, see all the cool things everyone has to offer. I love the live band. The food's always good too. So I bought some honey. It's local honey. It's really good and healthy for you. A lot of the artisan markets, they're all locally made products. So it's always good to support local artists. And then I got some soap. It's handcrafted New Hampshire soap.
I got Italian eggnog. And coconut. I just needed something refreshing. It's so hot. Yeah, we've been here a few times for the sunflowers and the corn maze, and it's just always a nice time. So.
Yep, so now we're trying this out, and we're surprised that more people wanted the wine than the ice cream.
We started just the sunflowers, and everything has evolved from there. And basically because customers have come and said, wow, can we get something to eat? Do we, we want to give you, we want to do more business here, but, what else do you have? And it's like, all right, if we're going to call this a festival, we need to build on that. So that's what we've done.
So I was in the retail business. I used to own gas stations and convenience stores, and we decided to put ice cream
little scoop shop in one of my gas stations. When I went to my attorney to register the LLC, he said, if you're going to be in Kingston, you need to have Memories ice cream. And I said, Memories? I never heard of it. My wife and I traveled there and tried the ice cream, fell in love with it. I had the coconut chip, and I said to my wife, we have to own Memories because that coconut chip is to die for. And so here we are. And it was an old dairy that couldn't make money as a dairy in the late 90s. A guy bought it and said, I'm going to make ice cream here, and he did. And my wife and I are the third owners of it, and the business is growing every year. We're in about 25 different stores now. We serve scoop shops, we serve Phillips Exeter Academy, a lot of little restaurants and convenience stores, and the business is growing. For this event here, we made one called a Midnight Sun, which is a chocolate ice cream with chocolate-covered sunflower seeds, which has been a big hit, and it is every year. But we make other flavors like banana Fosters, which is very popular. There are so many little unique flavors that we make that I don't even get to try them all because they go so quick. And I guess that's a good thing.
We had a chance to travel to Ireland just before COVID, and we went over there, and because we're farmers, we'd start talking to somebody over there, and they'd say, everybody over there is tied to agriculture one way or the other, and we got a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, and Ireland has caught on that for tourism, Ireland needs to look like Ireland. And if they don't keep the farms going, it's not going to look like Ireland, and people aren't going to come. And Vermont doesn't look like Vermont did 40 years ago. New Hampshire doesn't look anywhere near what it looked like 40 years ago. Those are two, you don't have to travel far to see the change. So.
But I can say one thing about the town of Lee, where we live now, that this is one town that embraced agriculture, not just fields that were bush hog or things that were going to grow up into forests, but to support actual agriculture. The way the laws are written in the town, it supports that you can have a smelly farm next door, and that takes precedence. Little things like that which help agriculture, because sometimes it's not all pretty, 365 days a year. Sometimes we have to spread manure and it doesn't smell appropriate. That's just it. It goes away very quickly. So little things like that, if towns can support agriculture as much as they can, and to keep this landscape, the working landscape, as John says,
the working landscape
is important to us.
Join me by the river as the day nods to the night. Listen for the loon call, the dimming of the light. Laugh and sing a joyful tune of life's undying beat. But take my hand and dance with me as all my cares retreat.